All right, today we're diving into something pretty exciting from Google Labs called NotebookLM. It's an AI assistant that's really looking to shake things up for teachers and students. So let's get right into it and see how this thing actually works.
So here's a quick look at what we're covering. First, we'll break down what this tool is all about. Then we'll get into the good stuff, how it can be a game changer for teachers and a total study buddy for students. Of course, we'll also talk about what it can't do, the limitations. And we'll wrap up by tackling some of the bigger questions this kind of tech brings to education.
You know the feeling, right? Information overload. Teachers are juggling research papers, curriculum docs, and a million articles. And students? They're drowning in lecture notes, textbooks, and videos. Well, NotebookLM is designed to be the answer to that chaos, a personal AI that helps you make sense of it all. So what is it exactly? Well, at its core, it's an AI research assistant powered by Google's Gemini model. And this is the most important part, it's completely different from other AIs you might have used. Why? Because it works only with the stuff you give it. Your documents, your PDFs, your Google Docs, even links to YouTube videos. This brings us to this really key idea called grounding. Because the AI is locked into your sources, it becomes an expert on that specific material. It's like giving an AI a closed book exam. It can't just go browse the internet and make stuff up, which, as we know, can be a huge problem. This grounding dramatically cuts down on errors and keeps the answers totally relevant to what you're working on. And getting started is incredibly simple. Seriously, you just upload your sources, then you start asking it questions, just like you'd talk to a person. The AI shoots back answers that are pulled directly from your documents, and get this, it even gives you citations so you can see exactly where it got the information. From there, the magic really starts. You can ask it to create summaries, outlines, study guides, you name it. Okay, so how does this actually play out in a real classroom? For educators, this is all about saving time and streamlining that endless workflow so you can focus more on, actually teaching. So imagine you've got this super dense academic article or a brand new curriculum guide. Instead of spending hours reading and taking notes, you can get an instant summary of the key points. And then you can say, hey, turn this into a quiz, or make me a vocabulary list, or even draft a full lesson plan based on this. The time-saving potential here is just massive. Now, one of the coolest features, I think, is its ability to create audio summaries. NotebookLM can take your written materials and turn them into a spoken, conversational audio file, kind of like a mini podcast. This is fantastic for creating resources for students who learn better by listening, or for anyone doing a flipped classroom model. Okay, so we've covered the teachers. What about the students? Well, for them, this thing can be like a supercharged study buddy that's on call 24/7. This really changes the whole studying game. Think about traditional studying. It's often super passive, right? You're just reading, highlighting, and hoping it all sticks. But with an AI assistant, studying becomes active. You can ask your notes questions, get clarification on a tricky concept, and get explanations tailored just for you. It's a huge shift from just memorizing facts to actually understanding them. A student can upload all their class materials, lecture slides, textbook chapters, all of it, and basically have a personal tutor. If a concept from a lecture was confusing, they can just ask, hey, can you explain this in a simpler way? And when it's time for exams, it can whip up flashcards and practice questions based only on what they need to know for that class. Okay, this all sounds pretty amazing, I know. But it's not a silver bullet. Like any new piece of tech, NotebookLM has some practical limits that you really need to be aware of. So, first thing you need to know is this number, 50. What on earth does that mean? Well, that's the max number of sources you can add to a single notebook right now. There's also a word limit of about 500,000 words per source. So if you're in a college course with a gigantic reading list, you might actually have to split your materials into a few different notebooks. It's just something to keep in the back of your mind. And there are a couple of other things. Generally, you have to be 18 or older to use it, so that limits its use for younger students. Also, if you upload a Google Doc and then go edit it, the change doesn't sync automatically. You have to re-upload it. And finally, sharing notebooks with other people isn't always as smooth as you'd hope. Just practical hurdles to know about. So moving beyond just the practical stuff, a tool this powerful naturally raises some much bigger, more profound questions about what it means to teach and learn today. And here it is. This is really the central question that educators, parents, and students are all starting to ask. When an AI can summarize and synthesize information so well, what happens to our own ability to develop those critical thinking skills? Is convenience coming at a cost? There are a few big challenges we have to think about. First, the risk of dependency, students just leaning on the AI instead of doing the hard work of thinking for themselves. Then there's the danger of just accepting the AI's answers without question, even if it provides citations. And, of course, the digital divide. Not everyone has equal access to these tools. This all means that the real job for teachers becomes designing tasks that use AI to augment our brains, not replace them. And that's really the bottom line here. The goal isn't to have AI do our thinking for us. It's to use it as an incredible partner, one that can help us manage information, find connections we might have missed, and ultimately deepen our own understanding. It's all about augmenting human intelligence, not outsourcing it. So I'll leave you with this final thought. This technology is here, and it's getting more powerful by the day. The real challenge isn't about trying to ban these tools. It's about how we fundamentally rethink what education looks like. The question is no longer if we'll use AI, but how we're going to teach a whole new generation of students to think critically with these tools. And that's a question we're all going to have to answer together.